students, myself Dr. Divya, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So in this session, you will understand the natural resources in natural resources. What are the water resources, its forms and different uses. So here are the topics. What is water? Definition. Then water, its forms and distribution on earth. Then types of water and its uses. Then water availability and fresh water shortage. So what is the shortage? If it is really having, then what are the conflicts and problems when it is in shortage? So water, we all know that water we keep on using in our domestic life and also in many of the industrial applications. It is a marvelous substances which can be a beautiful and powerful and destructive. It can be a recreation when it is beautiful and powerful for power generation and destructive when it is in the form of floods. So when it is floods, it is very destructive in nature that destroys all the types of infrastructure and also affects the human life. So it is transparent. Water is transparent, tasteless, odorless and nearly colorless substance. Chemical substance with a chemical formula H2O with 2 hydrogen molecules and oxygen, and it is a main constituent of Earth's hydrosphere. We have seen in the previous session in the biosphere. Hydrosphere contains the water that is a part of biosphere and the fluids of all known living organisms. So we all know our body contains about 70% of water. So similarly, all the living organisms require water for its survival. So what are the different states of water? So water occurs in different states like liquid, solid, that is ice, and in gaseous phase, vapor. So water vapor, water in the form of ice, and also water in liquid phase. So what happens like when the solid is melting, it forms a liquid, and evaporation it forms a gaseous phase. So these are the different phases or the states of water. So how is the distribution and forms of this water on earth? Like around 71% of earth's surface is covered with water. So just the entire world, the earth is covered with 71% of water. So of these all the percent, only 2.4% is of fresh water. Fresh water is only 2.4%, and in the 2.4% ice, and it is 87% is because of ice and snow, and 12% of groundwater, and 8% is the fresh surface water. So in this groundwater, again the fresh surface water, like in that 0.8%, we have freshwater lakes and reservoirs that contains water, and the soil moisture having a soil that is having moisture in plants and animals, atmosphere that is the water present in the atmosphere, wetlands and rivers and streams. So these are the different forms of water that is distributed in the earth. So oceans is also a source. So this is one of the source of water, wherein this is the largest area and volume of water that contains on the earth. So it contains about 97% of earth's water, and it is having average of 35 grams of salt per liter. So per liter it is having 35 grams of salt per liter. It means it is very salty in nature and can be used only after desalination. It means removal of salt. So only after removing this salt we can use it for our daily purpose. Then in the form of ice and snow, it contains almost 90% of fresh water. So this is only the fresh water has a very less or no content of salt. So as much as 2 kilometers thick ice or snow is present. So it is mostly situated in Antarctica area and Greenland with 10%, and other snow mountains that has about that it is containing 5% of this fresh water. So in the form of groundwater, water is in the form of groundwater in the rock and soil layers. So this is the land that we have, and the groundwater is here in the soil or the rocks, between the rocks or soils beneath the earth's surface. So this absorbs excess of rainwater whenever it is raining. Whenever it is raining, it will absorb the absorb rainwater and snow and rainwater on ground, and penetrate deeper into the layers of soil, forming the groundwater. So this will return to lakes, streams, rivers and marshes. So it is readily available for use and drinking water. So this can be used for other domestic purposes and also for drinking purpose. So in the form of fresh lake waters, in the lakes, there are different lakes like fresh water lakes and saline. So in fresh water lakes, it contributes about 91,000 cubic kilometers. So it is, which is about 0.07% of total Earth's water. So if we see this, it is covering the most of the area of fresh water lakes. So provides water for agricultural irrigation, industrial purpose, municipal uses and residential water supply. So this can be used in many purposes, and major freshwater lakes are the largest are the Caspian Sea, Central Asia, that is present in Central Asia, Baikal Lake, that is present in Russia, and Tanganyika Lake, that is present in Eastern Africa, and Lake Superior, which is present in United States, Malawi Lake in the Eastern Africa. These are the major the freshwater lakes that can be used for drinking and other purposes. And the saline lakes contain salt, so that possess the about 85,000 cubic kilometers, that is occupying about 0.006% of total Earth's coverage or the water content. And the saline lake water cannot be used as such due to its high salinity, presence of salts. So salts can be in the presence of different types of salts in its chemical combinations. So this presence of salts gives salinity to the water. So they cannot be used, this type of water cannot be used directly for any purposes. So major saline lakes, these saline lakes are present in the Caspian Sea, Central Asia, Great Lake and Dead Sea between the Jordan and Israel, and Aral Sea between the Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, and the Dead Sea. So these have high salinity, so they cannot be used for purpose directly. So they have to be desalinated before using. So in the form of rivers and streams, so these are the bodies flowing surface water driven by gravity. So this, if it is the ground, so there is a flowing water on the surface of this ground due to rainfall or from rivers. So this is nothing but river water or the stream waters. So these are the surface waters. So rivers and streams are the surface waters that contains about 2,120 cubic kilometers, occupying about 0.6% of liquid fresh water surface, and around on Earth it is 0.0002 percent of Earth's complete water component. So if we see this diagram, we can understand very easily, like the surface water, liquid fresh surface water, in that the most of the surface water is just because of fresh water lakes and reservoirs, which is about 45%. 45% is occupying just because of fresh water lakes, and the soil moisture is about 23%, and moisture due to plants. So we have very good vegetation, so because of that there will be high moisture content due to this vegetation, and the forests and agricultural land, so that contains about 23.8%, that is accommodating or contributing to the surface water, the fresh water. Then the atmosphere that contains water is about 4.8%, and the wetlands having 1.3%, and the rivers and streams are only 0.6%. So if you see these rivers and streams water is just because of most of the percent is due to the rainfall. So the wetlands are the other form of the source of water. So these are the areas of land wherein water covers the surface of at least part of the year. It means it covers the surface of the land, or the surface water. It is also a surface of water, so they are not as important as lakes and rivers for water storage, but they play a good or important role in soil erosion production, food reduction, groundwater replenishment. So this water will penetrate down into the soil or the ground, so that will increase the groundwater. So this will help in penetration of water into the ground. So trapping nutrients and sediments. So the nutrients that are present on the top layer of the earth are entrapped into the layers of earth, therefore increasing the nutrient content, organic matter. So water purification. So it is also important. These water bodies are also important in water purification, and also providing fish and wildlife habitat, wetland and soil moisture. So this also gives a habitat for fish and other organisms living in the water. So atmosphere, this is also an again form of water that is present, which is about 0.001% of total Earth's water. So around 4% of air volume in the atmosphere. So movement of air through atmosphere provides a mechanism of distributing fresh water to terrestrial reservoir. So just because of the water that is due to the rain will be traveling through the air. Air is a medium that will help in travel of this water that is present in the atmosphere, and that deposits or accommodates in the rivers and streams. Rivers and streams. It can be either from the rain, snow, or hail. So all these forms of water will with the air medium will move to the rivers and streams, providing fresh water. So there are different types of water. Let us see how the different types of water and their uses. So if you see that off stream and in stream uses, so it means that water that can be used for the agriculture purpose, thermoelectric purpose, it means generation of electricity, then industrial purpose for washing, cleaning, production in the production plants, then mining in the extraction and cleaning of ore metals, then domestic purposes and commercial uses. So these are the different uses that comes under off stream uses. So in the domestic use, if we see that there is lot of water that we use daily in our domestic purpose in almost all the ways, and also in agriculture, either in the sprinkling or dripping or any other forms of irrigation, we use water in many forms for cropping, and also in industries for washing, cleaning, and in the production plants, and also for recreation. So see, these are the many uses that are present for the off-stream waters. So what does it mean? Like in stream uses, like there is a lot of water, large quantity of water that is present, large quantity of water. So these large quantity of water in the form of dams will help in the recreation, hydropower, navigation, recreation, ecosystem support that can be used, that will be very useful to the mankind. So in agriculture, it is like used in the irrigation. Crop irrigation consume about 2/3 of water withdrawal. So it means it will be using about 2/3 of water that is available, and also evaporation and seepage from unlined irrigation systems are the principles for water loss. It means the loss only occurs due to the any evaporation or seepage that is occurring in the irrigation systems. And there are also the three different irrigation systems: flood irrigation, sprinkler, and drip system. So these are the three different types of irrigations that are available, are used in the cropping. So in the flood systems, depending on the crop, we have to use either of these irrigation systems. Only then we can save water. In the livestock, how water is used in livestock, like watering livestock, then a dairy operation, like cleaning or providing water, then cooling livestock facilities, So any cooling for like this, we are cooling the facility when it is hot summer. We will be sprinkling water for cooling purposes, and also dairy sanitation and cleanup, animal waste disposal. So even for the animal waste disposal, we use water, a lot of water. So for example, if you see like water per pound of 1 pound of meat, if we require, so we need to use the water for about 520 gallons for production of chicken, and 720 for pork, and so on. So these are the various lots of water that we are using in the livestock. So in the livestock, we use even for the cleanup, everything will be counted like so. The daily operations, cleaning, sprinkling, cooling, and all. So this is the huge amount of water that we are using for the livestock. Then in aquaculture, as we know that aquaculture, that they live in water only itself. So rising fishes, like growing fishes, we use water, and also rising shellfish, shrimp, lobsters, rising other creatures living in water. And also, for example, if we want to do some higher quality of fishes, like without any microbes, so antimicrobial chamber, antimicrobial growths. So in that, what we do, we take water in separate tubs and grow the fishes, and then send it to the rivers or rivers, so that ponds or lakes, so that they grow healthy. The other use is the thermoelectric. So how the thermoelectric generation happens with the water? It is used in the production of electric power. So both fresh water and saline water can be used for thermoelectrical applications, and thermal power plants contribute largest portion of electricity till date in the national power grid of India. So in India, we are producing large amount of electricity just through the thermal power, plants. So the total capacity of thermal power plants as on 31st of 2021 across India is around 2,31,000 megawatt power that is obtained due to thermal power plants. So the electricity generated by these plants, generally it adds up about 71% of total power that is generating in India. So with this number, we can understand that most of the power that is generated in India is just because of thermal power plants. So what really happens here is, like the water that is goes through the boiler and turbine that is generating electricity and then supplied. So this is how there is a huge water that can be used. So and the remaining water will be sending to the streams or the rivers. So there is a huge water that is used in the thermal electric power generation. And in industries, it requires a lot of water for cooling down the machinery. So almost all the machineries get heated up on operation. So most widely we use cooling agent. So the coolant that is most widely used is water. So we are using water for the coolant to reduce the temperature, and that allows manufacturing process to keep on going. So we know that in production plants it keeps on going. So it runs 24/7. So for that, we require to use a lot of water as a coolant. So it is also required to use to clean the machinery, products, and the buildings. So for the machinery, the products that are generated, again the cleanup process requires water as an ingredient. Then when we keep on using this water for different purposes and different ways, there will be some scarcity that happens. So what does it really mean? So annual supply, for example, first it is the stress that is happening on the water. So annual water supplies is less than 1700 cubic meter per person. So it should be like available for each and every person. So when we keep on using exclusively, it reduces in number. So when the scarcity occurs, when does it occur? When the annual supply is less than 1000 cubic meter per person. So in annually per year, when a person is unable to receive at least 1000 cubic meter of water, it is like the country is under scarcity. And the absolute scarcity happens when it is less than 1,500 cubic meter per person. So this is how the scarcity is defined, and there will be drought conditions just because of water scarcity. So when does the fresh water shortage happens? It is just because of the population growth. When the population growth is increasing, there will be demand for the water that is in the supply. So most of everyone will be keep on using. So there will be shortage in the fresh water also. So lack of access to the clean water happens. Then groundwater will be getting depleted. Then climatic changes or the global warming happens, and the rivers and lakes keeps shrinking. So all these will happen just because of freshwater freshwater shortage. So these are the effects for the freshwater shortage. So what happens when we use water over extensively exploiting water resources? So when do we really happen that it is overuse in agriculture? When we forget to switch off or the motor is running for longer hours, the water is overused. And in residence, for example, we for the gardening or washing, bathing purposes, when we use overuse exploiting the water resources, then there will be an extensive shortage for the water. And also in the community, when we for the recreation purpose also, now we are building up swimming pools and other water parks, so that will be using lot of water. So we are draining out the water, we are keep on using and draining out the water. So that is a lot of water we are consuming for our recreation purposes. So that is an overuse of water. Then whenever there is a shortage or overuse, there will be conflicts coming out. So control of water resources is required. So wherein water supplies or access of water is at the root of tension. So everyone requires water. So there will be shortage of water, and it is also like a military tool wherein water resources or the water systems themselves are used by the nations or the state as weapon during military action. So it will be in demand like there will be was just because of water, and the political tool wherein water resources or water systems themselves used by nation, state or non-state for the political goal. Like they will be promising like water will be pumped to the particular state. So this will become a tool even in the political world. And the developmental disputes. So whenever there is a resource shortage, there will be again disputes happening in the development also, because the industries or any other establishment and urbanization requires water. So where water resources or water systems are a major source of contention and dispute in the context of economic and social development. It means the economy will go down. Economy will go down. So just because of water shortage, the industries will go back just because of shortage of water. So that will affect the social and economical development. So these are the problems that we will be facing if we keep on using the water for many purposes. Over usage has to be avoided so that we avoid these conflicts. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.